They called my backyard wetlands a blight, a mosquito haven, a muddy mess blocking their VY shown of suburban perfection. Laura Hensley, our HOA president, with her sharp tongue and a wardrobe screaming midlife crisis, sneered and dubbed it my personal swamp. So they drained it, bulldozed my haven of frog croaks and firefly glow to make room for their shiny playground and tennis courts. But now, their fancy new community center is sinking into a bog. The tennis courts are a permanent pond, and sweet Laura's learning about ecosystems the hard way, behind bars. If you've ever tangled with an HOA drunk on its own power, buckle up. This story's going to hit you right in the gut. It all kicked off with a flyer, not some innocent bake sale notice, but a glossy, smug proclamation of a community enhancement initiative. My stomach dropped before I finished the headline. Willow Creek Estates, our little pocket of 30-odd homes, wasn't some urban jungle. It was a quiet spot tucked against what used to be wild woods, now mostly chewed up by developers except for my backyard and the shared land where the wetlands thrived. Those wetlands weren't some grand national park, but they were alive, teeming with herons stabbing the shallows, spring peepers singing winter's end, and dragonflies with wings like church windows. I bought this house for that wild patch, that slice of untamed magic. But the flyer had other plans. It babbled about underutilized space and family-friendly amenities, a flashy playground, a community garden that'd need truckloads of soil since the ground was, well, wetland, and 2 pristine tennis courts. Guess where they planned to plop this suburban dream? Right where my reeds and cattails stood, where water did its quiet work, filtering runoff and keeping floods at bay. The mastermind? Laura Hensley, newly crowned HOA president, who wielded her clipboard like a scepter and her laminated badge like DVYNE right. Laura was the queen of suburban control, fussing over trash can colors and lawn gnome heights. Her own yard a sterile shrine to fake grass and clipped roses. To her, the wetlands were a sloppy insult to her manicured world. I tried reasoning with her at the first meeting. I brought photos wood ducks gleaming, turtles sunning, marsh marigolds blooming. I explained how the wetlands soaked up stormwater, a big deal with our area's growing downpours. I even tossed in some Ecology 101, hoping to spark a shred of sense. Laura just sat there, her smile tight, waiting me out. "That's all very charming," she said, her voice syrupy with scorn, "but this is about progress, what most homeowners want. Not everyone loves mud." Her bored lackeys, a spineless bunch basking in her glow, nodded like bobbleheads. One, a twitchy guy named Martin, piped up about kids and property values. The HOAs favored him. I wasn't alone. Old Mr. Whitaker, who'd lived here forever, mentioned the land's marshy past, and a young couple, Emma and Nate, worried about runoff. But Laura's clique steamrolled us. The meeting was a sham. The vote was rigged. My sanctuary was doomed. Fury lit a fire in me. I dove into county and state regulations, wading through dense legal jargon. Turns out, touching wetlands, even small ones, needed permits county, state, maybe even federal, since ours fed into Willow Creek. I demanded HOA minutes and permits. Laura's secretary, a pro at polite dodge, stonewalled me. When I cornered Laura on one of her neighborhood patrols, she waved me off. "Everything's handled, dear," she chirped, but when I pressed for specifics, her smile cracked. "Internal documents," she snapped, "not for every nosy busybody." That slip told me she was hiding something. I called the county NVY environmental office. A kind, overworked clerk, Sophia, checked their records. "No permits for your HOA's address in 5 years," she said. "That area is flagged as wetlands. Any work needs a full re-VYEW." Jackpot. Laura was breaking the law. I shared this with Emma, Nate, and Mr. Whitaker, who were wary but on board. Laura's petty violation notices scared folks, but we were planting seeds. I became a one-woman documentary crew, snapping photos of herons, filming water levels, logging every HOA interaction. When the first excavator roared in, my heart broke. No permits, just an HOA work order with Laura's signature. I called Sophia, nearly crying. She urged me to keep documenting. An inspector would come, but it'd take days. The machine tore into the earth, roots ripping, birds scattering. Water gushed from the wetlands into a trench, overwhelming a storm drain not built for it. Reeds wilted as their life drained away. Laura strutted by my house, smirking. "Progress, dear," she called over the rumble. I just raised my camera and clicked. The wetlands were dying, but I was building a case. Soon, the HOA paved over the scar, pouring concrete for a garish playground, asphalt tennis courts, and a community center foundation where the wetland's heart had been. Laura gave tours, crowing about value and VY Sound, ignoring the dust coating our cars and the dry, harsh air. Meanwhile, I found allies. Emma's cousin, a lawyer, gave us legal tips. Mr. Whitaker unearthed old deeds pro-VY in the land's marshy history. Neighbors grumbled as water pooled in their yards after rains, a new problem. We formed a concerned residents group, drafting a complaint with photos, maps, and AFIDA VYTS, mailing it to every agency from the county to the Army Corps of Engineers. Then came the storm. Not a hurricane, but a relentless 3-day deluge from a stalled tropical system. Before, the wetlands would have soaked it up. Now, water slid off the asphalt, flooding the playground into a muddy lake, turning the tennis courts into ponds, and seeping into the community center's foundation. By day 3, the center was sinking, cracks spidering through the concrete. Laura, in a comical raincoat, stood at the edge of her new Lake Laura, shrieking at Martin, blaming contractors, the county, the rain anyone but herself. The timing was perfect. Just before the storm, the county launched an investigation, spurred by our complaint. The flooding was our smoking gun. I documented every inch water lines on swings, submerged asphalt, sinking concrete. Emma and Nate rallied furious neighbors. Laura's allies went quiet as mosquitoes bred in her precious tennis courts. Nature was laughing. We lawyered up with Ms. Elena Torres, a fierce NVY environmental attorney. She saw negligence, breach of duty, and misuse of HOA funds. We sued the HOA and Laura personally, seeking damages, an injunction, and remediation. Laura's newsletter called it a malicious vendetta, but her pricey lawyers couldn't hide the truth. Discovery was brutal. No permits, no engineering reports, just emails showing Laura ignoring contractors' warnings. In depositions, she crumbled, contradicting herself. Martin admitted they'd trusted Laura blindly. A hydrologist confirmed the wetlands destruction caused the flooding. The trial was electric. Ms. Torres showed my time-lapse photos. VY Brant wetlands, then excavators, then a flooded disaster. The courtroom gasped. Judge Margaret Holmes ruled Laura and 2 board members grossly negligent, ordering the HOA to pay damages and fund remediation, maybe retention ponds to mimic the lost wetland. The tennis courts and center were a write-off, a soggy monument to folly. Then, a bombshell. The judge referred Laura to the DA for criminal charges. Months later, Laura was indicted for NVY environmental violations and reckless endangerment. She pleaded guilty to lesser charges, getting 90 days in jail, a fat fine, and a ban from HOA roles. Seeing her cuffed was surreal, not revenge, but justice. Willow Creek's new HOA board is scrambling to fix the mess. Our dues are up, but at least they're funding solutions, not disasters. Frauds have claimed the flooded ruins, croaking a smug "told you so." Remediation plans talk of rain gardens, a nod to the land's truth. I miss my wetlands wild pulse, but we fought ignorance and won. Nature and truth prevailed. If you're battling your own Laura, document everything, find allies, and fight. The swamp might just fight back. What do you think? Did Laura deserve jail? Or was the HOA's mess punishment enough? Should we have pushed for full wetland restoration, even if it bankrupted the HOA? Have you faced an HOA tyrant? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more real-life drama.